Welcome to the Scalable Marketing Machine podcast. I'm your host, Victoria Hadra, marketing consultant for female founders and creator of the Scalable Marketing Machine Accelerator. I've helped dozens of women grow and scale their businesses from 6 to 7 figures and beyond, helping founders like you to implement my proven growth system that focuses on brand communication, marketing strategy, building your lean team, and leadership. On this podcast, we talk all about what it takes to get to the next level in marketing and in life, focusing on practical, tactical advice that will help you grow your business and explode your revenue. Are you ready to learn? Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Scalable Marketing Machine podcast. Today, we're answering some questions that I have been asked over the course of this week. And whenever I have a question that keeps coming up again and again, I love to dig into it a little deeper on the podcast because maybe it's something that you all out there in listening land is also something that's on your mind. So this week, I've had a couple folks come to me and ask about how do they get started in their marketing career. And it's really interesting because I had one woman that asked this was kind of, her kids are older and she's kind of like starting again and very interested in getting starting in digital media. And on the other end of the spectrum, I have, a younger girl that messaged me who is still in university and kind of thinking about master's programs. So I thought it would be a really great thing to get on here and just give you my hot take on how do you get started in a digital marketing career nowadays. Okay. And so for both, whether you're just starting out or you're sort of making a career switch, I think that the first question to ask yourself is really, what do you need, right? What do you need? And what is sort of your vision of the career that you want to build? So digital marketing is so vast as a discipline. Okay. And a lot of CEOs and founders maybe don't even realize like how vast marketing is, because in the past, I would have to say like the past 15 years, marketing has changed so incredibly much, right? And so we've kind of emerged these two sides of the coin, these two faces of marketing. There's the more analytical and data-driven side, right? This would be kind of like the growth marketing side. And then there's more the creative and brand-driven side, right? And the reality is that every business actually needs both of these pieces of marketing in equal parts. And oftentimes, if you see a marketer who claims to be superb at both of these things equally, or even an agency that tells you that they're superb at both of these things equally, I would really question that. Agencies that I've worked for clearly fall along these two lines. Either they're more growth driven or they're more brand and creative driven, right? And so if that's the case and there's these two sides of marketing, you first want to understand which side are you more interested in, like what drives your interest more. But I also would have a think of like, well, what are you best at? Now, I'm talking about these two sides of the coin, and I'm deliberately not talking yet about strategy. And the reason is because strategy actually, there's more brand and creative driven strategy, and there's more growth driven strategy. Okay. And again, there's two separate lanes. Now, after you have a ton of experience, okay, so I could say, now I'm not equally good at both sides of those coins. As a marketing director and a chief marketing officer, I've been able to gain a lot of experience on both sides of the coin, and I know enough about each side to be dangerous, and I know how to hire the right people to execute those pieces of the coin. That's what you do as a director, as a VP or whatever. It's not about you executing these things on your own, right? It's about you being able to build the right team. But if you're just starting out and you're not there yet, I really encourage you to make that decision. Okay, do you want to be more the analytical or more of the creative? Now, once you go in through that path, okay, the next thing you want to understand is really right now in this moment, what do you need, right? So if you're someone that's younger and you don't have maybe a lot of expenses and you can actually invest in learning and growing, there's going to be one path that I would suggest that might be different than someone that's getting into maybe a different career path and maybe they need cash quickly. So let's break out these two scenarios. So once you've made the decision about what side of the marketing maybe interests you more, you're going to have to understand, what do I need right now? Now, let's first start with the idea of we need cash now, and what is the fastest path to cash? The fastest path to cash in a digital marketing career is going to be as focused and niche down that you can get into one area of marketing that you're connecting with. So this means, if you want to be a social media manager, you could focus specifically on mastering one platform, learning everything you can about one platform, learning about, how to grow accounts in one platform, and just become really like a subject matter expert in one small piece of marketing puzzle. Alternatively, this could look like copywriter, right? You could just focus in on being a copywriter, or you could be an SEO, like, optimizing websites, doing SEO, or you can be an ads manager. But I would just pick one of those things. And the reason is because getting into a career in digital marketing, because so many of the founders and the CEOs don't understand the intricacies of marketing, is oftentimes, if you're going to apply for a marketing manager role, the team that's hiring you, they may not have deep knowledge and believe that one person can do a lot of things well. And this is where a lot of folks get stuck. They get into tough situations. They don't get to keep hold of clients long because they're literally expected to do like way too much. And that's a huge problem that we have as marketers. Just people understanding that it actually isn't so easy to, ace email marketing and social media management and search and partnerships and PR. And there's so many pieces of marketing, right? So as niche down as you can get. And the other reason why I think niching down is the fastest path to cash is it's also much, much easier, to if you're going niche down and you're really going deep into a specific topic, you're going to become like a topic expert much quicker, number one. Number two, all of your learning, all of your focus is going to be really focused on one area. And so therefore, it's going to be easier for you to get better results for your clients. So for example, if you're starting out and you want to be a digital marketer as a general marketing manager, you're going to get thrown into the fire. You're going to have to learn all of these different pieces of marketing. And the problem with that is you're probably not going to gain any expertise in any of them. You're going to learn how to kind of wear a lot of hats, project manage a lot of things, and just kind of know the bare minimum of stuff, which is not in the end going to help your career. I think that it's going to be much more useful if you zone in on one niche and then realize that once you're working with teams, right? Let's use the example of a copywriter. Let's say that you study conversion copywriting, and conversion copywriting is specific copywriting for sales conversion. So you would be writing sales funnel emails, for example. So let's say you honed in on that, and you went one step further and you wrote those kind of sales funnel emails for one specific type of client. Let's say a product-based businesses, right? And let's go even deeper. Let's say beauty product-based businesses, right? It's going to be way easier for you to sell your services and connect with the right people if you are honed in on one type of person to sell and you're offering them one type of service, right? And if you're solely focused on that one thing, you're going to be able to build your reputation as an expert and really top in your field very quickly. Now, the thing is that once you're in it, once you're actually working with clients, which is the most important part of all of this, you're going to learn so much. And so this kind of brings me to the other end of spectrum, which is sort of the younger person that has maybe some more room for learning and they don't need to have this fastest path to cash so quickly. I do have opinion on this. I think, I didn't go to graduate school. So I didn't get my master's in communication in order to be a marketer. I really went this path of trial by fire. And the reason why I'm suggesting that you niche down as the fastest path to cash is that I spent many years as a marketing generalist, and it took me years to understand, like, okay, how am I going to, like, what is the unique skill that I can bring to a project that is going to really add value? Where's the place that I could be an expert? And after nearly a decade, I've learned really how to build a profitable sales driven marketing program, how to build marketing teams. That is my sweet spot. That's my expertise. But it took me many years to get there and many years to figure out what that is. Now, again, if you're niching down in one thing, it's going to be much quicker. The problem with doing schooling, so if you're interested in going more in the corporate route, I think that it's really helpful to get a master's and work for like one of the big consulting firms. If you have those kind of aims and working on that highest level, that path is probably going to be great for you. I can't speak that much to it because that's kind of the opposite. I've always worked with growth startups and scale ups on the ground, getting my hands dirty with investors, getting my hands dirty with founders, messy startup world entrepreneurship, but I love it, right? So you have to make that choice of, do you want to be working for like Coca-Cola and Kimberly Clark, or do you want to be, boots on the ground with startups, or do you want to be working with, medium-sized businesses? You want to have that vision. And I think if you're going that deep corporate route, the master's track could be great for you. Now, that said, once you get through the master's track and then you get kind of your first job after there, that's, in my opinion, where the real juice happens, right? So I didn't get my master's, but I have done a lot of continuing education classes through universities. And I can tell you, like, and this may be just my learning style, but like you learn way, way, way more by doing. Marketing is something that changes so fast. The things that you learn inside of a communications course, honestly, within 3 to 5 years may be totally irrelevant. The things that you may gain in a master's degree course are probably like high level concepts, which for me, if you're growth minded, like I've ferociously consumed all different kinds of marketing books because I like genuinely love marketing. So even kind of I've read the classic advertising books and the classic copywriting books and all these things. Those are my summer beach reads, right? And so you can get your education that way. What you do gain from getting a master's, of course, is an incredible network, that credibility, right? That degree. And honestly, you can be shuffled into probably your first consulting job or your first kind of bigger corporate job way easier. And so if that's what you want to do, I think that would be an excellent track for you. But alternatively, if you're debating, right, of going to get your master's for marketing or not, I would really say that, if you're working with like small or medium-sized businesses, or you want to, eventually be your own boss, like consulting or start your own business, it is really helpful to just dive in and get your hands dirty. So learn by experience. And so in that way, I would kind of go back to the similar advice I gave someone that's switching careers, which is get to know one thing really well. And as you're servicing the client as a copywriter or a social media manager or an email expert or SEO, whatever, once you get into businesses and you start talking to business owners and founders and even marketing directors and different teams, hearing what their problems are, hearing how they work, how they organize, what their systems are, doing that over a period of time, you're going to gain a ton of confidence. You're going to save money by not going to masters, right? To get your masters. You're going to gain a ton of confidence. You're going to learn so much and you're going to know what's working now. Because for marketing, that is so important because things change, as I said, right? Like security, like iOS updates. We've got like algorithm changes. Things go in and out of fashion in terms of marketing. The, changes in the economy, changes politically. All this affects business very, very much. And so I'm of the mind of like, you get in it, right? And you get your hands dirty and you learn and you grow, and you're going to learn the strategy as you're doing it, right? You're going to learn the systems as you're doing it. You're going to learn what works. You're just going to have such a deeper experience by just going and doing. Again, like the high level strategy and all of that stuff. I mean, I believe that there's a lot of theory that you can learn yourself and read yourself if that's what you're interested in. But again, the fastest path to cash, and I think the best way to learn, is just to get your hands dirty. And as I said, you're going to gain sort of industry expertise quicker if you're honed in on a specific topic. And again, like, it's much easier to sell the one thing. To just kind of be a marketing manager, like a generalist, that could be a good way to get started if you don't know what you like on marketing. You don't know what interests you. If you're sort of like, I don't know if the more data-driven stuff is going to interest me or the more creative stuff, like you really sincerely have no idea, then just getting yourself up on Fiverr or getting yourself up on Upwork and just pitching yourself as a marketing manager to do some simple things, and then going to the hard knock school of like YouTube to figure out how to like send an email and this stuff for like very small projects. That's also a way to get started and just kind of get to learn a little bit about what you like and don't like. Or starting really low bar, just like through your friends and your network, to just offer to do some things, just like an internship, just to learn. This is also another way that you can get started. But again, I'll say it again, because I said it a million times, is that as much as you can niche down, it's going to be easier to sell. And I, as a marketing director, chief marketing officer, I hire teams all the time. And even though I know the mechanics behind, someone that is a copywriter that's going to write my sales emails, right? The mechanics behind it, I, like, in my mind, understand is quite similar regardless of the industry that you're working in or the vertical, whatever. But as a buyer, right, as a decision maker, if I have a choice between someone that has specific knowledge of the industry I'm in and is an expert in the specific type of product, right, marketing this, either an expert in the specific channel or expert in marketing the specific product or service, I'm going to feel much more confident hiring them rather than someone that is that generalist. And just like personalization, on any level, when we're looking at our customers, right, we have a higher conversion rate when we're segmenting and personalizing communication. When you're thinking about selling yourself, your services, think about those people on the other end, right? The more niche, personalized, segmented, like focus that you can be in what you're offering, the easier it's going to be to close clients and then get that valuable experience you need to get started. The last thing I'm going to say is about like courses. Okay. So there's a lot of courses by like coaches and consultants, and there's courses through universities. I've done like quite a number of university courses, for example, to, across different things like accounting and finance, just to sharpen my skills and, well, kind of to gain the skills in some areas. And you have to think about like, how do you learn? I do believe that going through a course does give you some confidence if you're really just starting out. And this could be also the argument for doing a master's, right? So you have to really tune into what is important to you. But if you feel really insecure that you know nothing and you don't want to, and you're uncomfortable to just be Googling things, finding a general marketing course could be good to just give you some confidence and some basic knowledge. But again, it all depends on like what investment you're prepared to make, and how quickly, right? If some of us can't afford to be sort of investing that money, and we need cash quickly because that's just like the, the situation that we're in which case all of my advice applies. But if you are really kind of interested in doing a course, whether it is your master's or just like the Kellogg School of Business digital marketing course or any of the other thousands of courses that exist out there, I would just ask yourself, if you really feel uncomfortable kind of throwing yourself into a situation where you really don't know anything, a course could be a great path for you. And also could be great diving into your network and just offering to do some stuff, like offering to make a flyer and kind of learning how to do Canva, offering to like manage someone's email for maybe a small hourly fee, and spending some of that time you're working, like Googling things and YouTubing things. Because honestly, like the world is your oyster. It's so easy to learn, right? The benefit of the courses is, it's going to give you that base knowledge, but it's not going to actually help you in most cases, like learn how to execute things, especially like in these college courses. It's not going to like sit there and tell you how to like, make a flyer on Canva, right? That's better to just do a YouTube tutorial. So I hope this was helpful, right? So let's zoom out a little bit. Number one, if we have enough knowledge right now of ourselves to kind of pinpoint where our interest lies, are we more the creative and the brand driven side, or more the growth and the data driven side? So if we can make that distinction, that's a really good place to start, because even if you're considering courses and things like that, there's going to be some courses that are more brand driven and there's some courses that are more data driven, right? Then once you've identified what side of marketing you're more interested in, then you can begin to research the little pieces of those both parts, right? So on the brand side, there's design, there's web development, there's brand development, brand strategy, all of that stuff. And on the other performance side, there's funnel building, there's SEO, there's ads management, things like that. You can begin to sort of see on either of those sides if there's one topic that really strikes your interest, and then you can go 100% deep into that one area. That's going to help you get jobs quicker, right? The quickest path to cash. And then once you actually pick a topic, it's much easier to find like the courses or the teachers, the mentors that are going to help you develop those skills. So like, for example, if you want to be an ads manager, there's great courses that you can go through just to teach you how to do ads management. In fact, Google Analytics, for example, and I'm sure all of them have it, right? Google Analytics has a really robust track for just training you how to manage Google Ads. My fault, my Google Ads. All for free. I mean, actually, when I first started in my career, I thought that I wanted to do ads management. So I actually went through all of the certification for Google Ads. You have to take tests, you have to watch videos and whatever. And I did that. And actually, I realized that I didn't really love managing ads. I managed ads for a couple of years. It wasn't my thing. But again, like that wasn't wasted time, because through going into that experience and working with my first couple of clients, I learned like, what are the clients' needs? How did the marketing department really work out? Like I learned so much through that experience. So that any time invested in that, and even if you invest money in something like that, it's not wasted, right? So picking that specific thing that you like, and then finding the support that you need, either diving in to get some, project-based work or some intern-based work within your network of friends so you can kind of learn as you go, or finding a course that suits you. And then from there is like doing the work, right? Doing the work and learning what it's like to be inside these marketing departments. And you're going to begin to pick up on so much, right? About social media, about funnels, about high-level strategy, about how to manage a team, all of those things you're going to learn by doing. So that's the things that you don't really learn when you're getting a master's, right? It's just like all of these dynamic pieces of marketing and really how it works, like executing, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what you get paid for, right? To execute, whether you're managing or you're actually doing something with your own hands, it's the doing, right? That you get rewarded for. So that's how I would think about it, right? But again, you have to have that conversation with yourself about what you really want, but don't forget to have that conversation about what you need right now, because sometimes we're in this position where we would love to just continue schooling, but especially in marketing, I think people, as you get into it, now again, let's leave corporate aside. As you get into it, people definitely are less impressed with like the pedigree when it comes to marketing and more impressed with the results. So you don't need to have your master's to have a amazing career as a marketer at all. But you do need to be open to learning all the time, because again, marketing is always changing. And the most important practice that you can sort of get into as a marketer is just start reading books about marketing, right? Seth Godin or Donald Miller or Ann Handley, like all of these wonderful marketers that are really experts in their specific sphere, their specific zone of marketing, getting curious, growing your own expertise through self-learning, regardless if you're getting your master's or not. This is a lifelong journey that you need to be on. Because that's going to, you always have to be growing. You always have to be fresh. So I hope that helped how to get started in digital marketing. There's a lot to consider. It is a fun field to work in. And I will tell you at the close of this, like I'm streaming live here from Spain because, doing the work that I do, it affords me the lifestyle that I've always dreamed of, right? To be able to work from anywhere. And marketing is one of those disciplines that oftentimes you can find these like wonderful opportunities that work remote, right? That teams all over the world that you get to collaborate with all different kinds of people. So that's like another plug to start your career in marketing. So I hope that helped. If you have any more specific questions, please feel free to DM me, because I love this topic and I've kind of done it all when it comes to learning about marketing and sort of tried out all of these different paths. So I'm happy to give any more specific advice. But until then, I hope everyone's enjoying their beautiful summer vacation time. I hope everyone's taking some time to disconnect and unwind. But I will be here next week for another episode of the Scalable Marketing Machine podcast. I hope to see you then.
You did it. You made it to the end of the episode. Thanks for sticking around with me and listening all the way to the end. I really appreciate you as an audience member, and I hope that you found this helpful. If you did like this episode, it would mean so much to me if you subscribed, if you rate and review this podcast. It helps other people know that this podcast has something worth saying. It also would be super awesome if you could take a screenshot and share on Instagram and tag me at Ugly Ventures, UGLI Ventures, VENTURES. I am always so appreciative to hear from you, and I hope to see you back here next week